Criminals are now becoming so brazen in Britain that even the rich and famous have become helpless targets of thieves. Last week, reality star Jamie Lang admitted he'd been victim to a car break-in.
At 5:45 a.m, I heard this like boom, 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 boom. I was like, what the hell is that? And so I'm completely butt naked. I'm like, what is that noise? I lift the window wide open and I look outside, and below there is someone trying to break in to the flat below with a balaclava on. I thought in that situation I would like spring into like Rambo mode. I'd be like, here we go.
I wish he did.
I have never freaked out more in my life. I literally did this. I went, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Someone trying to break in. Not even to our flat. Some other person's flat. Not even us. I went, oh my God, oh my God. So I phoned the police and I went, hello?
With the window, did you close the window again?
Straight away, boom, close.
He would have heard you. That's why you ran away.
No, he was still there because I looked back out again. He was still doing it. And I went, police, police. Got put through and I went, hi. The guy was
an ick. This is one.
And I went, there's someone trying to break in. There's someone trying to break in. Sir, they're coming to you. Just stay calm. My wife is sleeping upstairs. Do I need to get her out of the house? Completely freaking out. I went down to our front door because I thought, if this man gets into the apartment, they're going to try and... I had a vision they were going to try and get into our apartment. So I lay down at the front door, stretched my whole body out to use myself as a door wedge.
But by the way, we're bolted. We've got 3 locks on our door. So I don't think that they were going to get through that and then need your little tiny body to help them.
Socialite Lady Victoria Hervey, who was rubbing shoulders with top Republicans at Trump's inauguration, had her phone stolen by bike thieves when she returned to the UK. Some of London's most exclusive postcodes, previously free from crime, are now the target for gangs of thieves who don't seem to care who sees them. Tourists and Brits alike have been prey to gangs of thieves on bikes who steal mobile phones out of their hands. London is becoming known as the hotspot for this type of crime.
So yes, it happened again. I had my iPhone 16 Pro Max stolen, literally ripped out of my hands on the streets here at Charing Cross in London. And it was a thief that came up from behind on foot, ran up behind me, grabbed the phone out of my right hand and then ran away. So I had 2 phones. One was on my left hand, one was on my right hand. So maybe I looked particularly vulnerable. But the police tell me that this is happening quite frequently, where thieves on moped and now on foot, apparently, are coming up to individuals and just ripping phones out of their hands. So they recommend tethering your phones, your purses, your wallets to your actual selves to protect yourself. This is scary, I have to say. You feel violated.
Police! The Met Police finally took action with a crackdown.
You are the only one on this channel at the moment, and as such, currently we do not have a tactical resolution until more TPAC units come down. Over.
But Peter Blexley said even more serious crimes are going unchecked in the centre of Britain's cities.
With the ongoing economic, social and moral decline that has gripped this nation, I don't see these figures getting better anytime soon.
Peter Blexley, the roll call of shame: Birmingham, Doncaster, Leicester, Newcastle, Brighton Beach. So not just inner cities, but opportunist criminals going from outside the areas into where people are to coat them off, to mug them perhaps in the day, for example, in places like Brighton.
Yes, and these are predominantly crimes of violence and sexual offences that have been recorded on this interactive map. It doesn't go into the theft, the burglary, the car crime, all of which are rampant in so many areas of the UK, which, when we get the latest stats, and they're regularly published, we will see there is a rise in crime, there is a drop in convictions, and quite simply that translates to criminals are getting away with it. There used to be an expression that I was raised with, that crime doesn't pay. But sadly, in this day and age in the United Kingdom, it very much does. And until our police services abandon the wokery, the liberal leanings, the fluffiness of the last couple of decades that have gripped their corridors of power, until we get a police service that actually reconnects with the public and does what the public wants, not what little vocal specialised interest groups force them into doing, but does what the broad, moderate mainstream of Britain, your listeners, your viewers, people that I interact with on a daily basis, until we get a police service providing this, then quite sadly, the subject, the matter, the situation is simply going to get worse.
Peter, I fear you're correct. Birmingham, New Street, also Newcastle City Centre, big train stations, Manchester, Middlesbrough, Riverside Stadium, Liverpool, Lime Street Station, the place where people commute to, the places where they are heading to, they're becoming victims of crime at them simply to go about their regular daily business.
The police have been handed new powers to deal with phone theft. It remains to be seen whether the plan will work.
It is an absolutely ginormous legislative bill, the biggest in decades. And of course, that means that potentially it could be bogged down in the parliamentary process. So it could be quite a few months before we get anywhere near this actually becoming law. But the government sees this as being about going after the kind of crimes that blight society in town centres. So your street thefts, shoplifting, antisocial behaviour, knife crime and alike. And one of the sort of changes that I think has got a bit of attention today is this issue over not needing a warrant to go knocking down doors and recovering the likes of mobile phones. I should say it's not just mobile phones, it's anything that might be electronically tagged, like a laptop, bikes, even vehicles.
Just explain something on that, Mark.
Yeah.
People might think, great, that sounds great. Mobile phones are very expensive and it's hugely disruptive if you lose your phone. If the thief turns it off,
they can't find it.
Can the police pursue the phone into somebody's home?
Drat. Never thought of that.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
This is it. You won't take
these burglars and these.
They'll always be one.
They are pretty stupid, but even those scroats are, they get it after a while that they need to switch the mobile phone off immediately, and that's what they'll start doing.
Yeah, of course.
So,
and
none of this works unless there are coppers on the beat around anyway. When you say my phone's been nicked. Are there more coppers on the beat?
Listen, I think the bigger issue is, despite what sounds like a shiny new bit of legislation that people go, oh, that's great, I can find my phone and I'll get it back. No. 50% of phone thefts reported to the Metropolitan Police go uninvestigated. Yeah. The police are just answering back-to-back calls anyway. They're not going to prioritise someone's mobile phone theft, even if they now have the power to go to someone's house if a caller says, I've got it at 22 Acacia Avenue. Well, I'm sorry, I'm off to a 999 call with a guy with a knife who's threatening his neighbours.
Do you know what I think is more likely after this? I think this is really flawed, this bill, and like you say, it's got a few stages to go through. What will happen now is people will see, if the thief is stupid enough to leave the phone switched on, and you press your app that will say find my phone, and you say it is at Acacia Avenue, I think the British public are more likely to now go and knock on the door and push the door down and do more vigilantism, because they'll say, well, hang on a minute, the police don't need a warrant. Why don't I need a warrant? If the police don't need a warrant, I don't need a warrant. And so I think you're going to get more trouble.
Well, you've got members of the public who are doing that anyway, deeply frustrated that the police are just not responsive to what are being seen as lower-level crimes or less important crimes for the police to investigate, and they're going off and they're trying to recover their property themselves. I think the difficulty going forward, it's all right coming away with new legislation which says we're going to empower them to go after stolen mobile phones or to tackle the likes of shoplifting now. For instance, this rule that was in place saying anything under £200 wouldn't get investigated. Now, whatever you steal should, in theory, be investigated. But when you've got the police doing back-to-back calls, they're going to prioritise, and the priorities, by and large, will always be towards the most serious crime.